Now we begin with alarming new details surrounding the Chinese spy flight and the scope of Beijing's surveillance operation.
The Pentagon briefing reporters just before we came on the air, saying they are now tracking a suspected Chinese spy balloon hovering over the northern U.S.
We begin with that giant Chinese spy balloon that's riveted the nation.
An urgent search is underway off the South Carolina coast. Navy and Coast Guard vessels on the scene, hunting for what's left of the Chinese spy balloon shot down by an American fighter jet.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the next episode of the Coastal Wave Podcast. I'm Pat Zarcone.
Sitting here with Nigel Horonzy, coming from the second story of the Berkshire Hathaway building here in beautiful sunny Myrtle Beach. And what a day it is today.
It is sunny out there, Nigel, and we have some amazing, cool guests with us today. We got Scott Malden with Action Water Sports and Daywall Homes. And we have
Jon Snyder, Snyderman.
What up?
And with Photoholics.
Yep, Casual Photoholics.
You guys probably saw that name running across the news over the last couple weeks, ever since Snyder got an awesome shot of the balloon getting shot down over Myrtle Beach. And man, what a cool story this is going to be. I can't wait to talk to you about it. I've heard a little bit of details, but from what I understand, man, you're just in the right place at the right time, or are you hunting this thing down from Montana?
Pretty much. I walked out the door, walked right into it. Not really much of a story. I mean, some of these guys were down on the beach. They'd been there for hours, kicked back in chairs, watching, waiting, just kind of watching everything going on. Meanwhile, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm still in my pajamas. And I figured, well, hey, I'm going to get dressed. It's about time for the balloon to be in this area. And I was like, let's walk outside and see what's happening. So I got dressed and walked outside. There it was.
And you have all the equipment right there, ready to rock.
All the time. Yep. And, my wife's always asked me, why do I carry my gear everywhere I go? And this is one of the main reasons why. You never know when there's going to be a balloon floating through.
No. Well, we kind of knew.
How many times have you been to the chiropractor since the balloon came by, guys? So my neck has been killing me. I spent like 2.5 hours like this, just watching that thing come over going, what in the world?
We were the surveillance systems, I think, for a whole week. I think it was everybody just looking up.
Absolutely. Well, we were having a birthday party outside at my house, which is right over here. And the fighter jet started cruising around and circling around. And we're all out there going, wow, look at this. This is cool. And we cued it for my son's birthday, by the way, is what I told everybody.
That could have been.
And I walked out front and I just saw the plane going in at it. I'm like, oh my gosh. And next thing you know, boom.
Yep.
So you watched it get shot down too?
Oh yeah, I was outside in the front yard right here watching it.
Did you see it get shot down, Scott?
Unfortunately, I walked back into the convention center.
Oh, you're at the home show.
Bird a couple times. I heard the booms, and I walked outside, and there it's going down.
There was 2 booms. Well, John,
There was two booms.
It's weird because a lot of people, and you can see it in some of the other people's videos that have some stuff that they put online, like Sockasty area and some of the outer skirts, they heard the booms. I went back and I played back that video quite a few times with my AirPods in and turned up the volume, and I can hear a thump. But, nothing that shook the windows, which was kind of weird because I was in Surfside just as well as some of these other people that were hearing the large, booms that were actually shaking doors or rattling windows. But I didn't hear any of that. I mean, I played the video back many times, and I'm like, I don't hear it. I don't know if it was just.
So you didn't hear any booms, or?
It was just it was like a light thump. It was, what's up when you hit something.
Like the table.
Yeah.
Do you know the exact path of what it came over?
No, but I was, I'm beachfront near Surfside, so I was facing probably due north, so it was north of Surfside. I would say it was more or less kind of over the northern end of Myrtle Beach, if not southern end of North Carolina Sunset area.
I think that thing was over 443 West Palms Drive. I was there. I looked up, I was staring at it. That thing was there, and it came over top of, because I was at Topgolf, You were in the convention center, and I was talking to you. I was like, dude, that thing is directly over us, right?
Yeah,
it wasn't like a little this way or a little that way. It was like,
Yeah.
okay. And then they fired a missile at us.
Yeah.
I mean, that happened. Have you guys ever witnessed missile fires?
No, that
I'm just
I
making
don't
sure.
think
through combat.
I would dare to say not many people have,
I mean, military.
unless you're in Ukraine.
that happens there.
You know, but not here.
Wow. There you go. We did it that one out.
Back in the day when the Air Force Base was here.
Yeah, I do remember
Some
that.
booms back then.
Maybe sonic booms. I don't know.
Those two.
Yeah.
But
But I do remember the Air Force Base back there because we lived over on Ramsey Acres off of Pine Island Road, and it was right next to the Air Force Base where the A-10s were.
wasn't Carolina Forest some kind of missile range?
It was a bombing range.
Yeah, bombing range and tank practice area.
Yeah. But when was that? That was a long time ago.
Oh yeah, we're
I
going.
mean,
back
we're
to the 80s.
like even further back, huh?
Oh yeah, it's been there forever. But
60s probably.
yeah, I think in the 90s is when they started going down and
Yeah.
getting ready to close it for.
Yeah.
It was closed. I think when we graduated high school, right, John?
Yeah, I moved here in '91. It was pretty active then.
Yeah.
Front gate, back gate.
I still call it the back gate. Yeah. but-
Back gate. What the heck?
yeah. No.
I know what that is. That's right near Palmetto Point.
So you got some killer footage of, and maybe we can show it. I don't know, but you got a little attention because of that, right?
Yeah, tell us what happened there, man. So what'd you do to spread this thing across the world?
So after I got my pajamas on and I saw that this balloon was active, it was outside, and I saw the jet circling as well, and I was like, oh man, this is kind of cool. I'm gonna grab my camera and get my tripod, and I was like, yeah, I might even get some video. So I grabbed my stuff and got set up there, basically on the sidewalk there in front of at the front door, looking towards the beach, and I was getting a couple of shots, just stills, and then I started some videos. I got some video of the F-22s. That was the jets that they were using. Got some of those circling around the balloon, and I had no clue that they were going to fire this missile at it. But I was locked onto it, and I had just hit the record button on the camera. And when I looked left, I saw one of the F-22s that was taking a more direct path towards the balloon, and I was like, he's coming right at that balloon.
Yes.
That's what it looked like.
That's exactly what it looked like. He was going straight at it.
Yeah, it wasn't no circle. They were coming directly at it, and I was like, it's about to go down. And then I saw the two contrails, and I was like, well, there's only one jet there, and I was like, he fired a missile.
Mm-hmm.
So before I could even look back to the right, it had already hit the balloon, and the balloon was deflated, and it was falling from the sky, and I was like, oh gosh, please tell me I hit the record button. I looked down and I was like, okay, yes, I hit the record button. And I was like, man, I got the shot because I was
Awesome.
I was locked on. So I don't know if I'm able to
Anything.
talk brands, but I use Nikon, and I had the 400 millimeter lens on there, and then there's a I don't know, you guys probably don't do photography that much, but
Mr. Producer does.
so I've got a 1.4x converter, which basically magnifies the lens. So 400 lens with a 1.4x would put me at 500. So I was at about 560 millimeters. And with the Nikon, I was shooting the Nikon Z9, which is their newest flagship camera, and it's able to shoot 4K at up to 120 frames per second. But I had it basically on the 24 frames per second, so I wasn't getting anything with a high frame rate and slow motion. But I had it locked on 4K at 560 millimeters. And then after I saw it hit, I was like, well, from here on out, I'm just, I'm going to get what the aftermath is. It's falling out of the sky. I got a little bit of that, but, in my mind, the only thing I could think of once I got that shot was, I got to get this on social media. So I immediately went inside and threw it into post, into post edit, and got a nice crop in for social media, your Instagram reels and Facebook videos, they're all in the portrait mode.
Mm-hmm.
So I cropped it in and got everything, the little post, the post clip of just a shot, of it hitting a balloon, maybe 10, 15 seconds. Threw some music to it, threw it on Instagram, and literally within a half hour, I had probably every major news network that you could
Really?
that was either direct messaging me on Facebook.
And what's your Instagram? Is it on your Instagram?
Yeah, the Instagram is Casual Photoholic,
Definitely give him a follow, guys.
and
And subscribe. Everything he's got other cool stuff he does out there besides Chinese blue stuff.
so literally within a half hour, every major news network was either blowing up my inbox on Facebook, messaging me through Instagram, and some people were even going to the website and hitting the contact through there. So I had emails coming in all at the same time. And then a good friend of one of the local weather forecasters here in Myrtle Beach,
Who's that?
Ed Pietrowski, had a good friend up around the Boston area that reached out to me on Facebook, and he said, man, I'm a friend of Ed's, and I saw this stuff that you'd have on the balloon. And he goes,
Oh, that's great.
man, you need to sell this. Typically I will just, tell the news networks, hey, yeah, you can share it. Just share it with credits, just put my name out there. And I've done this for years. But this particular shot that I got, the guy goes, you need to sell it, And so I said, call me. So I was freaking out because I had never gotten this much attention from a clip that I threw out there. So it was kind of all new to me. But he called me back immediately from the elliptical at the gym. And I was like, well, I appreciate you taking time out of your workout to call me and talk to me about this. But he goes, yeah, man, I got a broker. I can pick you up, and he can sell it and help you out. And I was like, sounds great. So by the time I got to dinner, which I let this other guy do all the foot and leg work, I just dropped it in Dropbox and like, just keep me updated. Within probably an hour and a half before I even got the soup and salad at the hibachi place, he was texting me and said that he had already pushed it out through CNN, NBC, ABC, CBS, Washington Post, News Nation, probably like 5 or 6 places that he'd already sold it to. So
Wow.
it went pretty quick. And then, before I could even get home from dinner, CNN was blowing it up. They were throwing that video up probably every 2 or 3 minutes. And then picking it apart. I had military officials from the government that were just picking this video to pieces.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by taking it apart?
They were basically, sitting there talking about, how the jets were coming through there, the missiles that they used, these sidewinders, and basically just, I'm pretty sure the government has it just to analyze the shot.
So they took the video though.
I don't know what they've done with the video, but I'm sure the U.S. government's probably using it to analyze the pilot shot because it was so close. But anyhow,
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
it was pretty wild.
That is pretty cool.
So did you make a lot of money off of this thing?
And I'm here talking with you guys, and I'm not in retirement yet, so no, it's back. I'm back to square one. It was a great weekend.
Did you get some drinking money?
Yeah, I mean that's basically it. But I can't really discuss too much on the back end as far as copyright goes. But being that this shot was kind of a mark in history, a lot of people were wanting to use it, and some of the people did not want to pay for it. And there are some networks out there that were airing it and broadcasting it, and it wasn't licensed. They didn't pay for it. But there's a possibility that they could probably pay for it on the back end. So,
So I like that idea.
that's all the work that's kind of going on in the background.
Yeah.
But that's that guy from Boston doing that stuff for you?
No, he just gave me the number for the broker, which was Live Storms Media.
Live Storms Media?
Brett Adair with Live Storms Media took the video and hooked me up. So.
Brett Adair.
And it looks on this picture, on this video, that they hit it so precise that the apparatus underneath it fell and they didn't destroy it.
That's what it looks like.
I mean, that's what it looks like.
Until it hit the water.
Well, till it hit the water, sure. Sure, but
You could see kind of like little sparkles in the air as it was kind of coming down, which could have been some of the shrapnel, I guess, probably from the solar panels, from the blast. But
they did. It was a pretty good shot.
it looked like a separation with the tethers.
Yeah.
No, but this thing was floating at this balloon. It was 65,000 feet in the air, which was like really high, super high. So these jets and stuff, they don't really train at 65,000 feet. So to kind of
They don't fly really at that flight.
zoom in, and zero in on that shot, something that's floating, that's in the wind. I mean,
Yeah.
Did you follow any of the other balloons that were coming around? I mean, you had to, you had some kind of interest in it now. Did you?
No, the balloon. It wasn't the balloon's really kind of not something that just run around and chase and take pictures of. But when stuff like that happens, obviously you want to be part of the crowd. So I wanted to just see what kind of shot I could get, and I ended up with something good, which was I kind of just fell in on it. It was, literally, being in the right place at the right time is really all it was.
That's pretty cool, man. What's the most?
Not even something that obviously you don't go out and just look for balloons every day. It's not an air to take pictures, but it happens.
Since that's happened, is anything? You were on you've been interviewed by a couple different places. Who called you in? Who have you spoken to, and what's the coolest thing that's happened since that?
Well, I think probably the best so far is Pat Zarcone.
Me, baby.
This is probably the funnest out of the bunch. But no, I've only had one other interview. Inside Edition, the producer from Inside Edition emailed me and wanted to set up just a brief interview, FaceTime interview. So that was going into the office on Monday morning. So I just sat up there in the boardroom at the office where I work at, and it was probably maybe a 10-minute interview, and they took 2 clips out of it, and basically it just says that I walked outside and there's the balloon, and I was like, "Ooh, there's the balloon." and then the other clip was, it's just a matter of being in the right place at the right time. I'm like, where's the rest of the interview?
They're all, man.
Yeah, I did see it though. On film. I mean,
It's Inside Edition, but they paid for the interview, so
Yeah. Wow, that's good.
That is cool, man.
worked out good.
That's really cool.
And so, what other photography work do you do around here? What else are you working on?
Well, I really wanted to get into, I really wanted to get into a lot of the photography stuff, maybe doing stuff for real estate, doing, stuff for portraits, family and beach photos. And, but I went to school for networking and IT stuff. And then an opportunity came along for a radiology group here locally. And I do IT and clinical systems stuff, and I work with a lot of the major healthcare facilities in this area. So part of that is also being on call, and it really burns up a lot of time. So it's just, I really didn't have a lot of time to pursue anything as far as work goes on the photography side. So more or less now it's just kind of like a hobby and something for me to get out and about. But I can't sit still on one genre of photography a lot, so I jump around quite a bit. There's good stuff with that, and there's bad stuff for that, because every different genre is, it's different settings and configurations when you're going out and you're shooting. So it's a learning curve. If you're familiar or comfortable with one type of photography and you try to go to another one, sometimes that can be challenging. But I do everything from, obviously a lot of people start out with landscape because it's easy just to walk out on the beach with your phone, hold your phone up, take a picture of the sunset or the sunrise with your phone. But I started out with landscape and started doing some astrophotography and night stuff. And speaking of which, right now is Milky Way season. So the early morning, just before the sun comes up, if you're down on the beach, you can actually see the core of the Milky Way.
really,
Starting to come up over the horizon.
get good pictures of it.
What's that look like?
It's with the naked eye, the Milky Way across the sky looks like a very faint contrail of cloud. But once you use your equipment, with your camera and you're shooting at we call it ISO. It's a light sensitivity. Once you're shooting at a high ISO and you bring that back into post and you do long exposures at high ISO, you're actually able to bring out all of the light that's gathered in from the stars and the gases and everything. But it's pretty cool. It's like, basically clusters of stars stretches across the sky, and actually the core has like pinks and purples and green, different colors of gases in it. Once you bring it back into post and you kind of mess with it and adjust the highlights and the shadows, and it's a very long process. So that type of photography is it's very long, drawn out stuff. But I went on. I started doing macro. Just taking stuff of small stuff, like as small as ants.
I'm looking at some of these animals and stuff that you've done on your site.
Is it pretty cool?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
that's a damselfly. So and it was just on the screen door. So, you know, the funny thing,
That's wild.
y'all want a good laugh, is I was standing outside on top of a chair, on the patio chair, with my camera leaned up against the screen door, like face down, and then I've got this huge like diffuser that goes on top that lights up the subject, and I'm standing outside like in this weird like thing, you know, up against the screen door. And my wife is looking out the kitchen window, you know, the big bay window there. She's like, "What the heck is he doing?"
He's taking a picture of an ant.
Don't mind me. I'm just taking a picture of a bug.
But look cool.
But I mean, you see this stuff sitting on a screen door, you know, and you're like, you're swatting at it when you.
Yeah.
But if you've ever taken a macro shot and you look at it up close, you're like, wow, this is cool. This is really cool. And I honestly believe, I don't know if you've read the caption on that, but I honestly believe that insects are miniature aliens that are here on the planet looking at us.
Oh, whoa.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. Yeah. I concur.
Well, how to that conclusion?
Yeah. How did you come to that conclusion?
It's
Does that have something to do with
look at the
Chinese?
damselfly. Look at the damselfly.
Did you think that before or after he shot? They got the balloon shot.
It was after.
Were you
It was the
smoking
balloon shot.
when you came up with that caption?
No, that's
Is he lying to us?
No, he doesn't.
All right, I can live with that.
But check out the frogs.
Yeah.
Like there's some ospreys he's got where they grab them out of the water, they leave, and the fish is right there. He's got all kinds of
Now, do you sell some of your photography? That is beautiful, of the Ravenel Bridge.
Yeah, actually, that Ravenel picture there is actually on the South Carolina Picture Project page. If you go there to the South Carolina Picture Project, it's actually on there, and there's actually a whole description of the day that I took that shot.
That's gorgeous.
It's pretty cool stuff. But
Yeah. That's awesome.
some of the landscape stuff.
That's really cool.
And so you're just as a hobby, you go out there, you take cool pictures of stuff, and then you share it to places, and it catches.
And you sell these?
I get people sometimes, a lot of times, they'll ask for prints.
My gosh.
I don't push the prints probably as much as I should. Like I said,
You totally could.
Let's see one.
Yeah, check this out.
so and
He's got some great stuff.
every year, this time, Grand Strand magazine actually does an images of the Grand Strand kind of layout for their April-May issue, which is coming up. So I always submit something for that. I got the cover in 2014, I believe, on Grand Strand magazine, and then just about every year between here and there, I've gotten something put in there by them. So, but right now, there's actually an active contest for the images of the Grand Strand for Grand Strand magazine.
And what are you submitting this year?
There's a cluster there, you know, I've got some stuff of the moonrise.
Have you considered the Chinese spy balloon?
No, I did not put that in there.
Hmm.
Yeah, when you hear Grand Strand magazine, you got to think of something that, you know, is something that, you know, when people look at it, they're like, well, this is the Grand Strand.
Well, I think they should have the spy balloon as, you know, the thing of the year.
Well, that might come in, I think, probably maybe on a different issue, but
These are really cool pictures, man.
so, but yeah, I mean, it's just something that I do. It's something I enjoy doing. It gets me outside.
Do you have a favorite picture that you've ever taken?
That's tough. That's super tough. I mean, I honestly, I couldn't sit here and think there's so many of them. And there's so many of them that I never end up editing or doing anything with.
What was the hardest shot that you've ever got short of the spy balloon?
Oh, wow.
You guys are digging deep now.
Well, I mean,
It's, I would have to say probably anything that deals with the astro or the nighttime photography. I think that's the most challenging, simply because of the lack of light. You know, you're doing longer exposures. Once you're doing that, you're introducing digital noise. You know, it's a digital age. You know, I don't shoot film. Never really shot film except for the disposable cameras back home. You know, 8th and 9th grade chips in high school. You know, stuff like that. So that's the last time.
and what's wrong with Kodak, man?
That's the last time I used film. So yeah, it's a digital age, and then noise is introduced, and that's just kind of like the fuzzy stuff that you see on the photos sometimes, and that's just due to lack of light and the camera struggling to create the image with the lack of light. So
Doesn't your astrophotography, the camera moves with the Earth orbit on some of your shots?
Yeah, I've actually got it's called a star tracker. So you set your camera up on it, and then you actually polar align it with Polaris, which is the North Star, because everything rotates around Polaris. So, sorry, I keep hitting this table.
Okay.
So, if you polar align your scope with North Star, it's always in the same spot. So you can center it that way, and then when you turn this little device on, it spins. It's kind of like an egg timer, but it spins around. And so as the Earth moves, so is your camera setup. So you're actually able to take longer exposures.
What is a longer exposure? I mean, it's so long that you have to go with the rotation of the Earth, so it takes that long to take the picture.
Yeah, because of the lack of light and it being at night, there's only very little bit of light that comes in from the stars or well, the moon's very illuminated, so those are typically quick shots. But if you're doing deep space, anything with like distant galaxies, these things are like millions, if not billions of miles away, some of them. So some people spend, hours and hours, sometimes days, taking multiple long exposures, and then you're having to go back and stack, hundreds and hundreds of images on top of each other to bring out detail and the highlights and the lowlights. There's a super long process. Nighttime photography is probably one of the most challenging things that you can get into as far as photography goes, simply because of the lack of light and all of the post-processing that's involved with that genre of photography.
That sounds cool.
What's a post-process?
Post-process is just coming back in and sitting in a chair like I'm doing now in front of your computer screens, going into like a Adobe Photoshop and Lightroom, where you're just adjusting highlights, lowlights, shadows, where there's little light here, there's lots of light here. And, it's just a process of working with the image behind the scenes after it's been taken. It's what we call post-processing.
Wow.
Which is what, this guy over here is going to have to do with all of our stuff, for instance. He's going to go and
Editing.
Yeah, he's got to cut everything. He's got to cut everything in whatever, DaVinci Resolve, Premiere Pro, whatever he uses. And he's going to go back, he's going to cut all that stuff. He's going to, cut out the sections of me rambling on. Dang that guy.
So we shouldn't say any damn cuss words.
I've tried not to.
It's gonna be, and the interview comes back. I was in my pajamas.
I was in my pajamas, and it was a Saturday.
I mean, you could have said I was in my workout clothes.
You really believe that guy was in Boston, was on his treadmill, man?
No, he really was. He was on the elliptical. That's what he said. I tracked it for a couple, probably for like a minute, maybe a minute and a half, and I was like, this is just balloon matter falling out of the sky.
Did you see it land in the water?
No.
Could you have?
No, I before it hit, I think before it even hit the water, I was already, taking my tripod down, wrapping my camera up, and was running inside because I was like, I got the shot.
Could you have seen it if the angle you had, would you have been able to see it from the water, like splash?
No, because I'm probably 3 blocks off the beach there in Surfside and trees all around us, and I was kind of really looking over the house, so I can't even see the beach, like the water from there. So
I wonder if they cleared the waters around it. The military cleared the oceans around it.
God, I guess. Hey, I bet it's been a sea since that's happened. We have a boat ramp over. Sorry, it's been a scene since that's happened up there in North Myrtle Beach. They took over the whole public boat ramp.
Oh, really?
Highway 17. It's barricaded off. You can't even get
Still today, or is it back open
this week? But 2 weeks ago, when we were dropping the equipment in, we weren't allowed to use the boat ramp. And they were telling us, you see anything in the water, don't touch it, if we were to go offshore.
Yeah.
I was mentioning that we got replica balloon fraction parts at Action Water.
Replica.
yeah.
But we bring everything out. I mean, they're bringing, the boats the Navy has, they're super sophisticated. They're right there at the boat ramp, and every little scrap piece, whatever it is, it's all coming in, and
they're bringing that stuff into Cherry Grove area, into Little River.
Bringing it out of the ocean, bringing it to the boat ramp in Little River.
Come on.
Little River Neck Road.
Yep.
And it's being processed and then going into vehicles and leaving. And they got it chain link fenced up. You cannot go in, and they don't even want you, really. I mean, you can see the water edge of it, but it's blocked off in other areas where you can't see nothing.
Wow. I wonder if that, if there are people out there fishing when it happened. If it was a nice day, or, were they just clearing everybody out before it? They had to be clearing everybody out
there. And the VHF was taking over saying, vacate the area.
Yeah.
I wasn't on. I was at the home show that day, so I couldn't really hear the radios, but I'm sure all that crazy.
I would have wanted to go home if I knew that they were shooting things down with missiles.
Yeah.
If I wasn't at the home show, we might have gone to my boat and ripped out there and waited for it.
I went home, actually. I was at Topgolf, and after I saw the missile fire, I went home. I was like, well, that's a first. Maybe I should get home. They're shooting missiles
right above us.
at us. Dude, that thing was like,
was good.
No, I don't know about good.
At least the missile went off and it was used properly. I heard that shot down other stuff and missed. And
I missed a couple up there, and then they hit it over land. They can't win for losing. I mean, I'm not a fan of the current administration, but there's no winning in this situation.
Well, I mean, I thought they won on that one at least.
On the one they shot on our beach?
Yeah.
What do you mean they were listening to our phone conversations?
Well, it won for us because we got to watch it.
Oh,
so I'd say we won.
Yeah, for Snyder.
Yeah, we won.
He won.
Yeah, Snyder won.
Yeah, but I mean, the Chinese government listened to me arguing with Rose for a few minutes for sure.
Well, what about my shots of the bird?
That one picture I sent out was great. The guy's doing his butthole suntanning. He's like, "Hey, Mr. Chinaman, I enjoy the view."
Did
you say
that to me? Right after the balloon.
the funniest things I saw that day, man.
Not together, but
yeah,
I was in the bed for a week after that. I caught some kind of little flu or virus.
I wonder where it came from.
Was it a Chinese virus?
I got picture, but
It wasn't COVID or the flu. It was just a virus.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll show you what we did. Immediately I made everyone put masks on.
Well, how about that?
Well, I mean, we just had fired something that China sent over.
Oh, is that what you did?
Well, it would make sense if I was China.
Okay.
Chinese Air Balloon Day.
Okay. Chinese Air Balloon Day. Do you think they'll make this like a holiday here in Myrtle Beach?
Oh, dude, I got my video.
That's a good idea. Look, what was the date of that?
I don't know, but I think we should make it a holiday. We should have a party every year to celebrate the Chinese balloon shoot down.
Was it your son's birthday?
It was his birthday. It was the 4th of February.
It was on his birthday.
It was on his birthday. Yes. Good looking out. Yes.
So for next year, for his birthday, you need to get us some air balloons.
We will we'll go out to the ocean and we'll set them free. Large white ones.
And just get the hot air right, and we'll go for a ride.
There you go. Absolutely.
But don't shoot on.
Don't shoot.
Oh, it's a hot.
Well,
it's a birthday.
well, hey man, thank you so much for coming in and telling us your story. I think that's so cool.
So interesting, man. Thanks for hooking us up with this.
And your photography is beautiful. It's awesome. We did a follow. Y'all like his page, Scott's page. We'll put some links on the just imagine them.
Imagine.
We'll add them to the comments.
I know. We'll get them there, man. And yeah, Action Water Sports open for business now, right, Scott? You get jet skis on the water.
All right. Let's go. Let's go.
We kind of started with the warmer weather, but
mention the air balloon for $10 off.
Yep. Well, hey, Nigel and Pat Zarcone, Coastal Wave Podcast. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode.
Can't wait for the next one.